Being a leader, you have to wonder about a lot of different issues. I was only 7 years old, and I had to deal with a lot of things. One of those things, of course, was with talk about rebel fighting or possible uprising or another army going into a town. As a leader, I had to contemplate whether or not adding troops to a town would a cause those troops to be more of a detriment, as in maybe they steal or take or do something wrong to the town, or at the time I had British troops, and my British troops were absolutely loyal. They would do anything, and they were perfect. It didn't matter what I asked them to do. They would if I said stand there at attention all day, they would. Um, so I didn't have to worry about them doing anything wrong in the city. But that 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 incurs another question of, if you put troops in a city, are you just making the fight happen in a city? Because another army may engage another army in the city. So do you put troops outside the city, and hopefully the fighting will happen outside the city, away from civilians, or do you protect the city and then the fight just happens in the city? And where did the people go? I believe they had tunnels, so they would go there during fighting, and I think I ordered that to evacuate the town if it looked like there was going to be a fight or a battle there, because I didn't want that. So, because that's one of the worst things ever, is when you have two groups coming together to do a fight, and you have civilians in between, because no matter what, it's going to be bad. So, at some point in long distance past, I believe there was another army or something. I was doing some other things, and there were some mock military exercises, so it could have just been me. Like I said, I had two groups that were playing around. They're doing battle maneuvers and stuff off in the distance. There was no bloodshed over there. But I also heard talks about the about possible whatever, and so I at some point I moved troops into a city. Although I had them build buildings, I think is what I had them building. But I mean, other people talk about how, like, oh, this troop has blitzkrieg that what's called and taken the city, and it's like, they're mine. They're just building houses. We're doing construction work. There's a new bridge going up, and some water wheel stuff for me. So, there's what people say about this and that and blah blah blah, and then there's what I was doing, which was basically battle maneuvers and building stuff and having troops mess around. In fact, back then I tried to keep my people apart. I was like, okay, this group's going to be over there. That group's going to be over there. You're not going to fight. No? Okay, good. But, it always there's sometimes something happens anyway, and it's like, oh, whatever. How many tanks did you take out? 3? Alright. I'll cover the cost, but I'm sorry. Anyway, sorry about that. That's all I could do. Because every now and then... But, I mean, most of the time, the troops that I had, because back then, when I was world ruler, they all knew each other. They talked a lot. It's like France and Germany competed a lot. They would go and build things. It'd be like, who can build this building faster? It's like, I can build a bridge. I can build a bridge faster. It's like, okay, that's cool. It was a different time back then in like the 1800s and stuff, and maybe even 1900s, 1920s. We were building houses. We built aqueducts. We built everything. And I love my men, and my men love me. And there was no fighting. There was just camaraderie, and there'd be celebrations. I'd be like, and roll out 50 cases of like 5 barrels. Let's celebrate. And they would and they would chop up some. I'd be like, and a couple cows from my farm, and the villagers would give what's called, or they would be reimbursed for the food. I would always reimburse for food or something. I'd be like, and reimburse the locals for food, because that kind of thing. Anyway, a lot of things happened. It was a long time ago, I mostly did that during Greek days. I'd be like, okay, take that gold, move it over there. Yeah, take that. Okay, yeah. Okay, okay, I gotta go back to mining. Anyway, it's kind of weird back then in Roman times and Greek times because I was like, just logistic nightmare, and I had specialists. Like I said, I had the best of the best, and everything was run very efficiently. Nowadays, I don't know. I suppose it's run just as efficiently, only I don't know about it. So, anyway, but yeah, up to 1920, 1940, I was very much in control. 1950, maybe. I might have even ordered that new dam. I don't know. It's hard to say. But 1700, 1800, and 1900, that I built all those buildings, or paid for all those buildings, or asked for all those buildings to be built. I had great people. Sometimes the people actually work for free, which I didn't encourage. I always said reimburse the locals anyway. Because I had all kinds of stuff. Or I'd reimburse them by building buildings. Like, build an aqueduct, okay, that's reimbursement. And then, or they would put up a mill. We put up a whole bunch of, what's called grain grinders. I was like, put that up, yeah, put that, okay, 2 of those there, yeah, that's perfect. All right, good. All right, onward. And I would move off to the next project. And I believe I did build a grain or some sort of mill, that little waterway. Anyway, they built it. It worked great. Worked for years. And now it's like, what, 100 years later? 200 years, thousands of years later? It's rubble, but oh well. We moved on, I hope. So anyway, but that was a long time ago. I did a lot of that stuff, actually. It's like, yeah, I ordered that canal built. I had a mine. We did a lot of stuff there. So, and now it'll be underwater. I paid a lot of money for those canals, actually. I guess that would have been Greek days or Roman days or whatever.